The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is 1:30, and we are listening to Smooth Jazz right here on WENBC. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will broadcast this. Listen to this quick theme from Matlock.
I like how you're just changing the whole format of the show up.
I did. I'm just.
I know. You're like,
I'm directing it on the cast.
Yeah, I liked it. No, it was good. It's a refreshing change.
Yeah.
We need a change here. Well, folks, it's Jason and John back at you with another episode of Mattalk. And as you probably read from the description, this episode is called The DJ. So, ergo, we're doing our little DJ intro.
I don't know what you're talking about, John. I do that all the time.
You randomly just throw out call letters.
Yeah.
And
I go in my daughter's room and I'll be like, Kylie, it is 1:30 and it's 78 degrees with a little bit of wind. She goes, Dad, what are you talking about?
Traffic looks like it's snarled right now on I-71 South near Polaris. You might want to avoid the area.
Kylie and I, we just have conversations where we'll be talking about her day at school. Kylie, how was volleyball? It was fantastic. Hold on, Kylie. It is 1:30. Okay, Kylie, continue. She'll be like, what?
In all seriousness, I don't think Jason does that to his kid. He doesn't want to like psychologically damage her.
I do a lot of things that annoy my child. In my eyes, I'm fun dad. To her eyes, I'm probably annoying dad.
No, well, you know what? You'll have that. What can you say? Anyways, so anything new happening with you, man? Before we jump into this episode,
Three Geeks Podcast is going audio only, so nobody will have to no longer look at my face.
Oh, okay. You guys decided to do that as a way to help out with production issues or stuff like that, or
just to shift focus, because we have so many links to share on Instagram and so forth that it's overwhelming me. So I'm just going to put all the focus into the audio side of things.
Okay. Gotcha.
They'll still be up on YouTube and Facebook eventually as just audio only podcasts.
Cool. Well, one other thing that we have to talk about, which is a little bit of sad news, a former guest star on Matlock has passed away.
A former multiple guest star.
That's right. That's right. He's appeared so far in the Rat Pack as Carl Richardson, and also Michael Fitzmaurice in the Power Brokers. And this gentleman has two more appearances coming up in 1991 and 1992. And we're talking about Gregory Itzin. And Jason, I'll let you run down some of the other things that he's known for, because he has an impressive resume.
Gregory Itzin is... I wish we had talked about this when we recorded Three Geeks earlier. I really wanted to get into this, but I was a huge fan of 24, and in my opinion, Gregory Itzin has played one of the best television bad guy of all time. Like, he was fantastic as the corrupt president, Charles Logan, and oh my God, I love this guy as an actor. Sure, it's biased because I really like the show. He was also in Boston Legal, which I really, really enjoyed. He was in The Change-Up with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman. Lincoln, the Steven Spielberg film, based on the U.S. president of the same name.
For those of you that were unsure of that fact.
And then he was on NCIS. Like, this guy did stuff. And for me, he'll always be the president on 24. But every time I see him pop up on a television series, I'm always excited to see him, because he always leaves a lasting impression, from Firefly to NYPD Blue, all the way back around to Matlock. Because I believe I said this the last couple times we've had him as a guest star. Like, I love this guy. This guy's fantastic, and I hope that he gets the rest that he deserves.
Yeah, how old was he, by the way, real quick, that he passed away? I didn't write that down.
Let me check. I believe he was in his 60s.
So he was young.
He was, oh, no, I was wrong. He's 74.
That's still young, dude. I mean,
he was in his 60s when 24 was on.
Yeah. Well, again, R.I.P. to Gregory Itzin. And hate to kind of make this weird transition from incredibly sad news to our topic at hand. But Jason, are you ready for our opening statements?
Sure.
All right, as we talked about, the name of the episode is called The DJ. Its original air date was January 3rd, 1989, and we have quite a few interesting guest stars that we want to talk about. Let's first of all talk about S.A. Griffin. He will be playing the role of Arthur Saxton. Now, you may know S.A. Griffin because he's already appeared on an episode of Matlock. He was on the episode The Fisherman as John Sampson. And if you remember that one, that is, of course, the episode with the Vietnamese gentleman and the group of hooligans in the town was terrorizing him. He was John Sampson in that episode.
This guy has been in some awful movies, and he's been in some okay movies. But
well, what are the awful movies he's been in? Because I didn't write it down.
You didn't write down the awful movies?
No, I wrote down that he was also known as Detective Stevenson on Melrose Place, Detective Jurgensen on Vegas, the newer version, I believe.
He was in Bed of Roses with Christian Slater, Angel 3, the final chapter, Cool as Ice, the Vanilla Ice motion picture, Vegas Vacation, the worst of the vacation films. But he was in one movie that I don't think enough people talk about. This is starring Ryan Reynolds. It's an earlier Ryan Reynolds movie that I find to be hysterical, and that is Buying the Cow.
I have never heard of Buying the Cow.
Oh, my God. It is so funny.
Really?
Ryan Reynolds is so funny in it. I don't know about the rest of the movie, but Ryan Reynolds.
What's the plot of this movie?
I know it's something about,
being a single dude and dating and whatnot.
Yeah,
That Buying the Cow sounds like that old adage of, why would you can buy the cow or get the milk for free.
Yeah, well, Buying the Cow has a hell of a cast. Jerry O'Connell, Alyssa Milano, Bill Bellamy. Is there anything more 90s than Bill Bellamy?
No, Bill Bellamy is the epitome of the 90s.
Him and Sinbad,
yes,
pretty close
absolutely.
to one another.
Oh, well, cool. You know what? I did not know that he was in all those bad movies. I mean, I did look at his IMDb, but apparently those didn't register that those were terrible movies, although Cool as Ice and Vegas Vacation should register.
He was in a Perry Mason movie, but he was in the movie Amazing Ape. It's got, the picture is an ape in a doctor's outfit holding
is it like Air Bud?
It's got like an iPad on the cover.
Oh my god.
This is nice that we're in the same room. Like I can show John what I'm talking about.
I know. All right, well, let's move on to our next individual, our next guest star. Raymond Singer will be playing the role of Leonard Gilbert. You may know him as Dr. Moskowitz on Kojak. I think this is the first time we've ever had anybody that guest starred on Kojak.
I've never seen Kojak.
I've watched a couple of episodes over the air. I think Decades TV has it. Man, Telly Savalas, he's just, I don't know what to say about him. He is chewing up the scenery in about every scene that he is in on that show.
I recently picked up Moonlighting because I'm one of those people, I like to dabble in anything television, and
Okay.
I've never seen Moonlighting. Liz texted me and said we got some shows in at VGMX. Liz is Max, my podcast host's wife, and she said we got this in. I'm like, I want to watch Moonlighting because can you set that aside for me?
So wait, is that the one with we're talking Moonlighting Cher and Nicolas Cage and that?
No, we're talking Moonlighting, Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay, the TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what kind of shenanigans Bruce Willis gets into in a sitcom.
Well, here's some of the other credits of Raymond Singer. He has played several characters on both Family Ties and Night Court, and Lieutenant Watson on Operation Petticoat. Real quick, do you know who was one of the stars of that show, Operation Petticoat?
Ted Danson.
Jim Varney.
I love Jim Varney.
Yes, so you need to check this show out.
I just found out something about Jim Varney related. They have an Ernest con.
What? A con? For the movies of Ernest?
Yeah, and they have a cosplay contest. You come as Ernest or as Ernest's characters he played throughout the thing, like the old lady and the snake guy.
Wait a minute. Where is this at?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I flagged it so I could go next year because I want to be a part of Ernest Con.
Oh, my God.
And then you watch the movies on a big screen.
Okay. Well, Operation Petticoat apparently was only 3 seasons, I want to say. It's about a bunch of folks on a Navy vessel that kind of keep tabs on what's going on along the borders. And I guess it's a comedy. I've never seen it, but I knew you would enjoy that. But here's the one that I want to highlight about Mr. Singer, is that he played the role of Bernie Goldberg on Street Hawk.
I've never seen that either. I think we've talked Street Hawk, haven't we?
We have. I
or
think
Air
we
Hawk.
have.
We've talked one of the
Well,
Hawk
I think we
shows.
talked Airwolf. Yes, we talked
Airwolf.
Airwolf, yes. But Street Hawk was a motorcycle, same premise as Airwolf or Knight Rider or anything along those lines. All right, and lastly, we have Benjamin Slack, who will be playing the role of Marty Lynch. You may know him as Judge Fuller on The Practice. You may also know him as Mr. Ehrman on The Wonder Years. He was also as the insurance salesman on a couple of episodes of Beyond Belief.
Fact or fiction.
And, of course, he also played Sergeant Parker on an episode of Matlock from, I believe, season 2 called The Court Martial. And, are you ready for this? We have to give out an award to Mr. Slack. He gets the hat trick. He was also on Murder, She Wrote and Perry Mason. Yay!
Nice.
Mr. Slack, I'll tell you what. You, sir, are one of the few that get their name on the list of those.
It's a little more than a few, but yes.
Yeah.
Not Matlock related, but I want to bring it up. James Caan passed away.
Okay. All right. Has nothing to do with Matlock.
I haven't been able to talk about it yet.
Geez.
Like, it's tragic. Rest in peace, James Caan. That's all.
Now that you got that out of the way, I have an important question for you. That question is, are you ready to give an opinion? Your opinion, and only your opinion, so help you?
I do. Well, folks, this is the part of the podcast where John tells us all about the episode from beginning to end in
what
great
are you doing?
detail.
That's not even what happens next.
That is what happens next. You start
No.
talking about the episode.
Right. After we tell everybody that it's time to
Testify! This is the part of the podcast where John will tell you all about the episode.
All right, the plot of The DJ. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Matlock must defend a shock jock DJ who's accused of killing a rival DJ. This opening scene, actually, I thought was pretty good. It's kind of, it shows both Robbie, who is the other DJ, the rival DJ, and Arthur kind of doing their shtick, where they'd show a few seconds of Arthur being a rude jerk to the callers, and then they'd cut to Robbie doing it. Then they'd intercut to pictures of traffic in Atlanta. I thought that was a pretty cool way to kick things off.
It was a pretty cool way. We're definitely looking at shock jocks through an older lens.
Oh, yes.
Then I think, that's how I'm not going to get into my whole fandom of a certain shock jock, but I just want to say that I hate television shock jocks from the 80s because they don't fully get it.
No, in fact, that's the very first thing I wrote down here is Arthur is very much a Hollywood stereotype of a shock jock.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing really funny. There was nothing witty about his delivery. It's like, you're wrong, shut up, loser, click. I imagine, and that does happen, but I just feel like I agree with you that there's more to it.
There's a heart element to the shock jocks that are super famous. Like
yes.
The famous ones. There's a heart to it that's hard to duplicate through.
Well, okay, let's go ahead and talk about it because you're a big fan of Howard Stern. And Howard Stern, while you may not always agree with his opinion, you may not always agree with his antics, he has talent and skill. He has the ability to have people come on his show and open up and talk about subjects that sometimes they don't even want to talk about.
Yeah, and you can really tell his talent more recently since he's been interviewing a lot more famous people because he's getting them to talk about things that they would normally talk about.
Absolutely. And yes, of course, then there's, all the other hijinks that happens on a typical show. And I think that detracts from the skill that Howard Stern has, But let's just be honest. Are there any other shock jocks nowadays in 2020?
No, because I tried to listen to like Opie and Anthony back in the day, but again, they were missing that.
I agree.
They were missing that thing.
Man Cow as well.
Everybody that I've ever heard outside of Stern, and I will even give Rush Limbaugh the talent factor of this. They were all missing a certain factor that they were the Hollywood stereotypes.
Yeah, it's more than just telling people you're wrong and making crude jokes. There's a little bit of a finesse to it, if you will.
But man, this guy is
Yeah, that is not Arthur.
No, this guy is another word for a chicken. Or blank-a-doodle-doo.
You're bringing out some private parts, I see. Okay. All right.
Another name for Richard.
Well, Robbie Moore is his rival, and basically the story is that he left the station that Arthur was on for a competitor, and that's where the angst is among the two DJs. We see a shot of Ben in his car, and he does not like shock jocks. In fact, he's looking for something, and he finds his lighthearted music, which I'm surprised it wasn't like country western, because that's very much what he likes to sing.
If Ben doesn't listen to that station normally, why was it even on in his car?
That's a great point. That's a great point, because it's alluded to like that's what would be on when you start the car.
Like if my mom were driving back in high school, she might turn her car on to a station that she wouldn't normally listen to because I would have driven the car prior. But Ben doesn't have kids living at home. Like, who's listening? Maybe Ben's secret, and then he knows the camera's on watching him. He's like, I got to change this.
I bet it was Tyler Hudson.
Tyler, man, he's not in this episode.
I know, but so what? He's the one that last borrowed the car. Because it's not Charlene. She's in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Tyler's just like not on this show anymore.
Because he's too busy messing around with Ben's car. Okay, so basically there's something, and I think they alluded to this, and I should have researched this, but basically Arthur Saxon has what they call a relief tape, where when it's time to eat breakfast or I assume go to the bathroom or whatever, you could plug this in, and then it would still, your show would still be playing while you're not at the control panel. I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't even know if that ever was a thing, to be honest with you.
What, play a clip of the show while you're sitting there?
Yeah, like going to a relief tape.
Yeah, just like playing a record.
I don't know. Well, if there's anyone out there that was a DJ or is a DJ, can you tell us about the relief tape?
I'm sure there was like bathroom emergencies. I'm sure they had stuff on standby.
I don't know.
I mean, you could always dump to a commercial break, but I feel like that would be normal.
Well, let us know. Jason, how can they get in touch with us?
You guys can email us at benmattalk@gmail.com. And for our illiterate listeners, that is benmattalk@gmail.com.
Did you call them illiterate?
I said, in case there are some. I didn't call them that. I said for our illiterate listeners. Because not everybody can read, John.
The opinions of Jason Taylor are solely his opinions and does not reflect the opinions of Mattalk,
Andy Griffith, or Ron Howard.
Even though Ron Howard has nothing to do with Matlock, we're just covering all the bases.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Or, folks, you can also contact us, by the way, Facebook at Mattalk Podcast or on Twitter at Mattalk_podcast.
For some reason, every time John said "at," he pointed at me.
Well, that's a finger of shame for calling people illiterate. That's their secret. That's their business, dude.
It is. That's fair. I just didn't want them to feel left out.
Although, as a side note, my uncle, he was illiterate. So
see,
and
your uncle probably would be like, "Thank you, Jason."
My uncle is an idiot, and in fact, I do not like him. And he's not blood; he is married in. And I refer to him as my aunt's husband. That's how much I disrespect him and don't like him.
John's thoughts on illiterate people are those of John Orlando.
Now, wait a minute, time out.
Of Mattalk Andy Griffith or Ace Calhoun.
I'm talking about my own family. I think I get a pass on that.
Maybe.
We'll
let us know.
I will. In a couple of weeks when I get a cease and desist order from my uncle. We'll know why.
Well, first John will be like, woohoo, he listened.
Yeah. I haven't talked to you in 15 years. Woo! Anyways, enough about me and the Orlando family tree. Let's move on with this episode here. So basically, the killer shows up to Robbie's home and studio. I'm thinking 1989, how sweet is this that you have your own radio station studio in your house? And that house was a sweet house, too.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that.
Especially back then.
Right. I mean, pre-pandemic, that didn't happen, but nonetheless, the killer shoots Robbie, and then while speeding away, suffers a sideswipe because they're trying to get away. So we cut to a shot at the radio station where Arthur gets the news that Rob is dead, and he doesn't seem like he cares.
No.
Because he's cold-hearted.
Yeah.
He's a jerk.
A jerk face.
Word. Bob Brooks is there, and he runs down the details. And then he takes Arthur to the garage where he shows him his car is parked, it's still warm, and it has front-end damage.
Would you say he's an old-fashioned detective?
Would I say he's an old-fashioned detective, Bob Brooks? I would say he's very much an old-fashioned. And in fact, I'd go so far as to say Bob Brooks, all he drinks is old-fashioned.
I would say that it wouldn't be too far of a stretch for these cops to open their mind just a little bit. To like, okay, yeah, somebody could have just taken this guy's car.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. He leaves his keys in his glove box.
Right. Yeah, right. Like that's totally like just, oh no, too bad. It's got front end damage. You did it. Yeah, I know. Marty Lynch, who was there, tells
especially at the time, we thought he was on the radio still.
Right, and that goes right into what I was going to mention. Marty tells the cops all about the relief tape, and so that kind of sinks the ship of one Arthur Saxon. So we cut to Ben's wonderful office where he's hanging a picture. This picture is the most bland, boring picture I've ever seen. I mean, it fits right in with the rest of the decor of the office, I understand, but man, I don't know. Michelle walks in. After kind of like really parsing out what she wants, finally just kind of gets to the point of, hey, would you help out Arthur? The guy that I have been seeing.
What does she see in him?
I do not know. I do not know. It's the bad boy gimmick.
I was waiting.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but Michelle's way too good for that.
I agree wholeheartedly. She deserves a world-class gentleman.
I almost texted Nancy Stafford this morning to say, can you please tell me what Michelle saw in this shock jock? He's just awful. And he's not just awful on the air. He's awful behind the scenes.
True. Very, very true. And you know what? Ben's mind is blown as he calls him, quote, a genuine true jackass, end quote.
Jackass. Yep, we got to get the jackass in.
We do.
The Matlock drinking game, folks. It won't get you drunk, but it'll get you a little buzzed.
Okay, so Arthur is in the jail, or like at the meeting room in the jail. And then Michelle and Ben show up, and I'm telling you, man, Arthur was kind of a little bit aggressive with Michelle there. I mean, geez, oi, man.
Again, what?
I don't know. Maybe he's got that charisma, and that's what attracts Michelle. That's what it's got to be. She talks about how he separates his on-air personality from his off-air
bullshit.
Wow, you dislike this guy so much, you're willing to curse on the air.
They never showed it on the show, though. They never showed this quote-unquote other personality. Because even when he's alone with Michelle, he's far from charming. He's still the same.
He's still creepy.
Idiot that was on the radio show.
Agreed. Here's some facts we need to run down. The murder weapon, a.k.a. the gun, was stolen from Arthur's place. This guy can't keep anything from not being stolen. His car... a gun, which he claims there was like 150 to 200 people. And first of all, that's not being a responsible gun owner. If somebody can just walk into any room where it's kept and take it from you.
In the 80s, guns were just laying on tables.
They were right there. Yeah, just laying, harem, scarum everywhere.
Yeah. Old guns, new guns, 19 or 1875
samurai swords,
guns, yeah, muskets.
Well, Ben faces off with Arthur, and he gets really kind of like mouthy, and he clashes with him later in the hall. He decides, sure, I'll go ahead and represent you. And Ben, to kind of wrap this up, is really astonished by Michelle's love of Saxon.
So am I, Ben. We are on the same page.
Let's cut to Robbie's funeral, which I was like, what in God's name are you doing, man? He walks in the middle of a eulogy, trounces down the aisleway, goes to the casket. I'm not sure if he looked in or if he opened the lid and then looked in. I don't remember.
No, he opened the lid because you heard it slam.
Okay. And he was like, I just want to make sure this isn't a scam. Who does that?
As somebody who's a fan of like weird pranks, I would laugh if that ever happened to me.
I mean, again,
if I went to a friend of mine's funeral and then I walked in and then they like jumped out of the casket, I would be angry and laugh at the same time. I'd be like, you got me, you son of a gun.
Well,
I'm not coming to your next funeral.
Second reference to your other co-host, Max. Max, plenty of ideas for a great prank just right here. So you should be
I thought
listening
you're like
to this.
another reference to your podcast partner. He did that a few months ago.
No,
Like,
no.
What, when?
No. But here is a great way to show those two different sides of him. Is if he showed up at the church, or wherever this funeral was, and he's sympathetic, like, hey man, I hated Robbie, but it's terrible what happened to him, blah, 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 blah. Then we might get behind what Michelle's saying. Instead, he's just being a hooligan.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle is at the radio station, and there's some people cleaning up some stuff, and Marty is cleaning up the office thanks to Arthur, because apparently Arthur was in there talking to Marty and then flew off the handle and trashed the entire office, which, again, not showing us the, quote, other side, end quote, of old Arthur.
Oh, if I was Ben, I'd have quit the case.
Yes.
This guy would have gone to jail.
Absolutely. 100%.
It would have been his fault.
And I wouldn't. And if I was Ben, I wouldn't lose 1 minute of sleep over that.
It's like, dude, you just sent yourself to jail. Like, congratulations, I'm out.
Yep. So Michelle talks a little bit with Marty, and then we cut to Les Calhoun, who is in Ben's place. He let himself in, and I like how Ben tried to hide behind the door. That was pretty funny. I got a chuckle out of that. But Les is there to fix the sink.
Ben didn't ask.
No, he did not ask.
He's got the tool to make other tools jealous.
I guess.
Or set an example, he said.
Yes. Les reveals that he liked Robbie Moore and that he's a fan of this shock jock radio. Of course he would be. I mean, because I think with Ace Calhoun, he's a follower. He jumps on whatever bandwagon. He just wants to be liked and accepted. And he knows Ben's working on this case. So he's like, oh, I used to listen to Robbie. I liked Robbie. It's a shame what happened to him. And then Les breaks the faucet, which you knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
You knew this clod was not going to fix the drip in the sink.
No.
Ben walks into a fine restaurant in which more people are cleaning up a mess because guess what? Arthur's the cause of yet again creating a mess. He's there to meet with Leonard, and Leonard basically is an agent that dropped Saxon. He has gripes regarding Robbie. This is just, first of all, this is a very weird scene. Like, I didn't understand what this agent was trying to accomplish. I was very confused as to, so he represented Arthur. Then when Robbie left and went to the other studio, he dropped Arthur. And then why couldn't he just represent both? Like, to me, I would think that's not a conflict of interest, would it?
What fascinates me about this episode is we don't spend a lot of time with the person who really did it like we do in most episodes.
Absolutely. That's a good point.
Like, they're barely in it. And we get all this time with these other suspects. But no, this dude, listen, anybody that's listening, if you ever decide to get in trouble or you get framed for something and you hire a lawyer, you hire them to take care of you. So shut up and do what they tell you to do.
Word.
Sorry. That's up there with picking up the knife and like bathing with it.
This public service announcement has been brought to you by Mattalk. Anyways, Arthur shows up at the radio station again, and Saxon grills Marty about the alibi, and he's taken away by security. And that alibi, of course, is that, hey man, I was still here even though the relief tape was on. And so this time it's the showdown. Ben and Arthur go head to head, and man, I enjoy some mad Benjamin Matlock. And I know you just gave your PSA real quick about it, but here you go, man. He's undressing him and giving him the
riot act.
Yeah, he's reading him the riot act.
Oh my God, dude, this guy he wouldn't have lasted this long before I read him the riot act. But finally, Ben's putting this guy in his place.
Yeah, absolutely. So Michelle enters to break the awkward tension in the room, and she has a copy of the relief tape. So Michelle and Arthur are going to look over the tape to see if there's any slip-ups or anything. Ben leaves, and we see this scene where Arthur's trying to put the moves on Michelle in Ben's office, no less. Now, first of all, I feel like that's sacred ground. You don't fool around. You don't do naughty things in Ben Matlock's office.
Yeah, and I felt complicit in whatever he was doing.
That's right. I mean,
like, are they going to call me as a witness to this?
Michelle does come to her senses, and she says, you know what? You're no good for me. That's what she tells Arthur. But guess what?
Because he doesn't take no for an answer.
That's right. He doesn't. That's right. As we said earlier on, he was kind of being a little bit creepy in this scene.
Yeah. Well, Michelle was like, it's not that I don't want it.
Yeah, because you know what? I think a woman should kiss at least one dangerous man in her life. And okay, Michelle, the alarm clock's gonna go off. This dude's a dope, and he's gonna just break your heart. All right, so then we cut to a scene where Ben interviews Deidre Wallace. Now, here's my Howard Stern reference. You've made a few at the beginning of this episode. I always liked when he made fun of what's his name's wife, Deirdre.
I don't remember.
It was what's his name's wife, the opposing Don Imus's wife.
Oh,
Deirdre. Like he'd always say Deirdre. So that's all I could think of. Anyways, Ben interviews Deidre Wallace, and he loves her act. Why? Because it's all country western bumpkins on the radio. And Deidre reveals that she really doesn't like her job, and that she pretty much hates Robbie because she was on a major network, or a major radio station, I should say. And after all of the, Robbie leaving and Arthur, getting a better slot and all this other junk, she got booted and fired, and now she's at this podunk radio station.
Podunk.
Ben interviews Marty Lynch, and he breaks his alibi because basically Marty lied about where he was the night of the murder not because he was involved in the crime, but because he was talking to a gentleman about the possible sale of the station, and he wanted to keep it from all of the employees.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I
Good
would
business.
say that would be a good reason to lie, especially if it's going to upset Arthur and maybe a few other folks.
Well, I mean, there's not much that doesn't upset Arthur.
Yeah, I think if the weather changes 2 degrees, it upsets him, and then he goes and beats up a meteorologist probably.
Damn it, my toenail growed again.
All right, so we go back to the office where Michelle and Arthur are still listening to the tape. And they come up with this idea that people that call in, they get a studio mug. And if you got that mug, basically you had to give your address and everything. So they get the list of the coffee mugs, and there were 11 callers on the day of the murder, but only 10 were sent. And Ben right there believes that the old man on the tape, a.k.a. the shotgun guy, is the killer. So Ben and Michelle, they travel off to Robbie's place /studios /mansion, et cetera, and they realize something. There's something wrong on the wall. All right, but they don't give you much. They don't tell you too much. They just give you this shot of the wall. So we go back to the courtroom, and Deirdre is on the stand. Now Ben theorizes that there was a motive to kill Robbie and to pin it on Arthur as a way to get back to them for screwing her over, and for her to hopefully get back on a major big-time radio station making mad cash. Which, I mean, is true. That is something, if you talk to a lot of people on radio, the bigger the market, the more money you make. And so that to me, that sounds like a solid motive, If you feel like these two screwed you over, and if I can screw them over one way or the other and get back to the big time, so be it.
Which is really hard to do for radio DJs, is to break into other markets.
Right. Absolutely. So Ben plays the tape of the shotgun guy, and then plays the tape of some of the hillbilly voices Deidre does on her show. And Ben, being a very, very astute linguist, picked out that, hey, you have an Arkansas accent, Deidre.
Yep, you pronounce that R.
Pronounce that shard off shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even do it. See, I don't do it justice. The theory is that Deidre used Arthur's car to drive to Robbie's to kill him, all during the time that Arthur was on the relief tape. And so that would be kind of the way in which he is caught. But Ben knows what the final clue is. And that final clue is a picture of John Lennon.
That Ben doesn't really listen to.
Yeah, Ben does not listen to the Beatles. That's probably too hippie for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Way too hippie, On Robbie's wall is where this picture was affixed, all right? It was behind him, behind his chair, behind his soundboard. And basically, Deidre stole it after she had shot Robbie. And then guess what? Hung it up in her own office. Why would you do that? Why?
So stupid.
Like, I'm going to hang it up on my wall. I mean, it's never been there before. Nobody will notice that it's John freaking Lennon. Like, it's not like it's some indie rock band that a few people have heard of. It's John Lennon.
It literally is the same picture that was in the Dead Guys thing. Like, people aren't going to put 2 and 2 together.
I know. Oh, my God. It was so dumb. So basically, Arthur is found not guilty. And our final scene is that Les is still at Ben's house, but he's fixed the sink until Ben turns it on and it sprays him in the face with all the water. Ha 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 ha. Fade to black. All right, you have any notes, Jason, you want to go over? All right, then it's time for our closing statements. This is the part of the podcast where Jason and I are going to rate this episode. We're going to rate it based on a gavel system. 1 gavel for a truly awful episode to 5 gavels for an absolutely splendid episode. Not only will we give our ratings, but we will also justify why we were giving those ratings. Jason, would you like to go first?
Yes, I forgot to mention one thing we were talking about this episode is when the DJ is about to get shot. He just looks at the person so dumbly.
no, like
doesn't even move. Like he just looked, duh,
bang.
All right. Anyway,
okay, well, let's go on here. That small snippet out of the way. What do you give this episode?
I give this episode a 3 out of 5. That the whole Lennon picture thing at the end just really like sealed it for me. As just that one took me out of it. And while I dislike the dude, I get that that's the character he was supposed to be. So I'm not putting that against the show at all. The episode was fine. I mean, for the most part, it's just we didn't spend too much time with the suspects. So it's really hard to try to figure out who it was ahead of time. And 2, just the whole scene with the photo at the end. I just think that's maybe bad writing. I don't know, but that's stupid.
I'm with you. 3 gavels I gave it because
wow. Usually it's like I give it 5 gavels and John's like, ugh, I give it -3.
Well, wait, hold on to your socks. I put down as a positive. Arthur was really slimy. Very well done to the actor that S.A. Griffin for playing that role very, very well. I also said the whole picture behind the desk was stupid. I also felt there was no reason for Les Calhoun to be in this episode. Like, none. Like, it felt to me like they shot the entire episode and like, oh, shoot, we're not at 48 minutes. We're at 44 minutes. What can we do? Let's call up Don Knotts.
Don needed $50. And he was like, yeah, let's put him in this episode.
No Tyler Hudson, also negative. I did enjoy the relationship between Arthur and Ben, the way that they kind of went at each other. So overall, 3 gavels for me as well.
I don't hold Tyler Hudson against any of the shows anymore because he's on it less than he's on it.
Well, again,
he's not on it more than he's on it.
Right. And I think that obviously is because, as we've talked before, there's some personal issues going on with Keen Holiday. But when he's on, oh man, he's got some prime stuff that he's been working with. But all right, with that, you've already talked a little bit about the 3 Geeks podcast, going audio only with only 1 live show per month. Anything else you want to talk about?
If you're into the geek stuff, 3 Geeks podcast, we'll be dropping. Well, right now we're doing live until the end of the month, so Sundays at noon, and then after that, they will be dropping every Monday afternoon.
And don't forget about my own personal podcasting project, the PVD Cast, pvdcast.com, or wherever you get your podcast. Check it out. This week's episode, I talk about a little bit of WWE wrestling with my good friend Gerald Glassford. But Jason, we also forgot about one thing. Well, we didn't forget about it, but we almost forgot about it. We forgot that Mattalk needs the help of the listeners. I've been promoting this through all the various different social media outlets. Ladies and gentlemen, for a 2nd year in a row, Mattalk has been entered into the Columbus Podcast Awards, and we really need your help.
Hopefully this year John invites me.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? You knew about it.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Yes, you remember it because I called you and you were like, wait, that's tonight?
You called me after.
I thought I texted you beforehand.
Now, you told me beforehand about it.
I did.
I just forgot what day it was. We were going to go together. We were going to get white suits.
Well, Mattalk's nominated again, so we need you to help us out. Just go over to the Columbus Podcast Awards.com/nominations. Go down to the TV and film section. Click the vote for Mattalk. You put in your email address, and the vote counts. And if you missed that link, don't worry. I'm going to put it in the description for the show. So you could just, scroll down a little bit, click right there, and it'll take you right on over to the voting system. And voting ends July 31st. And hopefully with all the votes that we're going to get, that gets us out of the first round. It gets us into the second round where we might walk away with some hardware.
Yeah.
Which we will put behind our desks so that when we are murdered, somebody can steal it. And that'll be the final clue to solving the case.
Somebody will blame me because it'll be after mine conveniently broke, and then suddenly I have a new one.
All right, with that being said, Jason, shall we get on out of here?
She should have used the John Lennon poster to frame somebody else.
What do you mean?
Throw it in somebody else's studio and hang it up. Not in our own.
But she loves the John Lennon.
She go back and get it like in a couple years. Buried in the desert. Anyway, folks, it's been a great episode. We love you. Be nice to each other.
All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, as they say in court, nothing further.